Welcome to another episode of the Infinite Canvas Creator Spotlight. My name is Sebastian Park, and I'm joined as always by Tal Shachar, either up here, there, or there. Today, we're joined by an accordion player who also happened to make a game called Piggy. You know him as Minitoon. I know him as Minitoon. Y'all know him as Minitoon. Minnie, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good. You think you can cut the accordion part out?
Yeah, for sure. We'll get it in post.
Awesome.
We'll get it in post, and
Yeah,
we'll make a Twitter clip of it instead, or a TikTok, just like a TikTok loop of you playing the accordion. That's what we gotta do. We here at the Creator Spotlight Podcast love to just jump straight into it. So we're just gonna jump straight into it, Minnie. How'd you find Roblox?
Well, it started in grade 4. I saw a couple of my friends playing it on a school computer, and I thought, wow, this looks so cool. I would love to play it. So, I don't really know how to go into detail about it. I was a kid, and I wanted to try new things. So I tried it, and it was pretty fun. I think I started playing it in around 2010, and then I made my account 1 year later. And I guess I didn't really start making games that year. Like, I experienced Roblox Studio and experimented with it a little. Like, I put in free assets and tried to make some monstrous game out of it. It was full of viruses, like all of my earlier games. They're just full of viruses. I'm pretty sure you can find them. Don't play them. They're not safe. But that's kind of my origin story.
Yeah, that explains so much because we had some technical difficulties because Tal's computer was just mining Bitcoin. And it was probably from playing one of Minnie's old games.
I warned you. Actually, I didn't do it. Sorry, I should have.
So that was your origin story. When did you get bitten by the radioactive pig that transformed you into that? Yeah, that didn't. Is that not the backstory or?
It's close enough. I would show you my pigtail, but I think I'll keep that for a different time.
So wait. So you started making some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You claim they were filled with viruses. You're telling people not to play them. What was the first thing that you made that you were like, okay, this isn't full of viruses. This is something that's like half decent, half cool.
So I really got into like the SCP horror genre, and I wanted to make a game out of it. So I made like this survival horror game. It's still pretty bad. It's old. It's ancient. Stuff in Indiana Jones is probably more recent, but it was acceptable. Like it was a game, and that's where I got my first like breakthrough, I guess. I had about like 200 people playing every day, concurrently playing, so that was pretty big for me. And that's like my first like acceptable game.
So you have your first acceptable game. Like, what's the first game you feel like you really broke out with? Like, it's we joke that you're more of an accordion player, but I would make the argument. I mean, maybe it's a little bit too self-effacing, but I'd make the argument that you're actually more of a Roblox developer. So what's like the first game or thing you've made that you think really, where you felt yourself that you had made something really cool?
Well, I think that would be Piggy. When it first came out, I was just like the origin story of Piggy was basically I was doing these mini game jams. I was seeing how long it would take me to make certain games. And for Piggy, I was testing pathfinding or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a horror escape game. And I made it in about like 4 to 5 days. And then it kind of blew up. I don't know how it happened. People ask me all the time, like, do you have any advice for your game blowing up? Or like, how did it happen? I'm like, dude, I have no idea. People really liked a game about being chased by a killer pig. What can I say?
So you're making game jams, you're doing a lot of different small things, and you're saying that like one of them happened to be like you tried radioactive cats, you tried radioactive dogs, but it was really radioactive pigs that like got you over the hump. Is that what happened?
Exactly, yeah. I've done dogs, it didn't work,
But let's take a step back. Like so you're checking out pathfinding, super cool stuff. Devs out there that are getting into it, definitely look into that. Definitely something cool to add into your games. Why murderous pigs?
That's a good question. So I saw a bunch of these like free modeled, free asset games on on Roblox, like these survive Area 51 games where you find or you encounter these ridiculous beasts like an evil Sonic or just evil animals or something. Like I found an evil farm. I found even evil Frozen. Elsa from Frozen. She became a psychopath, and I found one with pigs, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that, and
You just
I'm
like
pretty
pigs.
sure. Yeah, yeah, I just love pigs. Not really. I think my favorite animal is polar bears,
I
but
mean, Minnie,
you know
how
what?
far were we from Piggy being polar bear?
It would be
Ooh, oh,
Barry, I think.
Very,
it was
very.
this close. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, I kind of like, I just said kind of three times. There we go.
I will fix it in
I wanted
post.
to. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Don't leave it in. Don't leave it in. I'll trust you. Yeah, no, I just wanted to experiment with it and see if I could make an animal horror game even scarier than those ones, or slightly better than a free asset one. And I think I succeeded. I think so. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's slightly better. It's slightly bigger than
Yeah,
those.
it is.
So
It's tough competition for sure. So
so so you're messing around. You kind of wanted to make something slightly bigger. There's no way you were thinking it was going to become like a global phenomena. Like you didn't think that. So you
no.
released the game, right? You put it out there. What happened? Did it blow up immediately? Did it take some time? Walk us through kind of what happened once you drop the game.
Okay, so I dropped it, and it got like a little bit of attraction. Like maybe 5 players every day or so. Like it was very very short.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, okay, I'll just sponsor it. I'll advertise it and see where it goes. And I did that, and I guess that's kind of what caused it to get so much attention and so much exposure. Because that's when I did it. I think it was like about February 1st, I think, that I did the sponsorship, or maybe before that. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But that's when it exploded, and all of a sudden, these big YouTubers were playing it. Flamingo, you might know him. He played it, and it just amplified it even more. It just kept growing and growing from there. Like it just came out of nowhere. I have no idea how to really describe it properly. It was surreal. That's what it was.
Was there a night that like you went to sleep and you're like, oh, there's like, whatever, a few people playing the game, and then you wake up the next morning and there's like an insane number of people playing the game? Like, did you have one of those moments, or was it just like every day, every minute, kind of steadily growing?
It was just kind of like every day, every minute. Like it was going like from like 10 to like 20 to eventually like 100. And then one afternoon, I was watching the stats, and it just exploded. It just went way up there, and like I was just watching it, like jumping up and down in my chair, like I've hit gold, I'm
Hell
rich. No,
yeah.
no, but yeah, it was wild. Like it was so much fun to see that happen, and it's always been like a personal goal of like getting at least above 200 concurrent players at a time, and I think it's safe to say that I've beaten it.
Yeah, by about I think 500x the last time I checked. So
Yeah,
it's a pretty
Just,
good one. Minnie, there's something that you
just a little.
do in the game that I think is super cool and something that we've seen people try to now copy. But like I want to say you're one of the first to do, which is like the story mode, the esoteric story evolving over time, chapter over chapter over chapter. Can you walk us through like how you came with that mechanic or how you came up with the idea?
yeah, so I've always wanted to make a story game. A lot of my older games were just single player games that like never really got anywhere. Like maybe I introduced the characters and that's it. I abandoned the game. When Piggy first blew up, for the first 2 or 3 updates, I didn't really think much of it, like story wise. So I just, threw out something quickly. And it was about when I was doing chapter 4 that I realized, wait a minute, I can make this into a story game, something I've always wanted to do. And so that's what I did. I took my some of my cut story ideas from previous projects and kind of put them into Piggy and made it this like whole apocalypse like scenario. And I thought that was really really fun. It's always been a dream of mine to do it, and now would be the perfect opportunity to do it. So it felt great to finally have that aha moment to work on something I've always wanted to do. So
First of all, that's super cool. Do you plan your story ahead of time? How many? We got a few chapters in the book already. Do you have like the next like 30 chapters pre-planned for the story?
there's not that many chapters left. Eventually, I'm going to be working on different Piggy type games, but I think there's about like 4 left, I think, of the main story. But
Oof.
yeah, I've had for the first, so there's 2 books or seasons, if
Mm.
you would. So for the first one, I planned it about halfway through. Like it was
Right,
very
right.
late into development. I'm like, oh shoot, wait, I can actually do a story out of this.
Mm.
So that one, it was a little bit, I would say, late, like the whole planning. However, with book 2, I planned it from the beginning. So
Just to kind of go back a step, at what point did your family realize that you had this insane thing on your hands? Like, and your friends too. Like, tell me a little bit about how your life started changing, at least a little bit. How did people react to it? What happened?
So I'm actually like my life hasn't changed much, and I'm very thankful for it, because if it did change, I'm pretty sure I'd get some greedy friends or family that would be
Mm.
coming after me. But thankfully, it hasn't changed much. Um, my family, they always thought Roblox was a waste of time until I started making money from it. Then they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe this isn't such a bad thing." Actually, at first they thought it was a scam, that I was making money off of it. They're like, "Don't put your info there." Um, but yeah, now they're very, very supportive of it, and they're very understanding. And they're very proud. They noticed they were actually we were watching the stats together, like live, so it was pretty fun to have the family come together and celebrate a success. And same with my friends, like when I'd go to school, I would show them, guys, look at this, it's blowing up. And they're like, oh, that's cool, whatever. But I'm very thankful that they didn't care much, because
Right.
if they did, they could be using me for money. So I'm very thankful to have such supportive friends and
It's awesome.
family. So.
Do I remember you told me a story about someone not actually recognizing you, but maybe knowing that you were in the neighborhood. Why don't you
Oh.
tell a little bit about that story? Because I think it encapsulates a bit about what life is like as Minitoon these days.
So I don't want to reveal who I am in public, I don't want
Yeah.
people to recognize me, because I don't want people showing up at my door one day and ask me all sorts of things or who knows what. But yeah, I try to keep my online life separate from my private life. And one day, I was wearing, or my sister was wearing a Piggy shirt. And some kids in the neighborhood saw that, and for some reason they thought that she made the game. So rumors started
Yes.
spreading around my neighborhood, being like that my sister made the game, and that was pretty funny. Eventually, she told them that she had nothing to do with it, which was great. But they got close to finding me, which
Oh
was
man.
scary.
Hey,
So
that's a Trojan horse right there. You're leading breadcrumbs out into the wilderness. Like we don't know the identity of Minnie at
I
all.
almost feel I almost feel bad for these kids because they don't realize how close they were.
I
You
know,
know?
I know. Yeah, I've barricaded my doors ever since. So
Explains the green
Um,
wall.
yeah, exactly. I'm hiding quite a lot behind this.
so, obviously tremendous amount of success this year, game of the year and just, the merch everywhere. Pretty sure I can find it if I go down into, some of the stores down here in downtown LA. I can find some Piggy merch. What is that like? Just like, having this thing blow up that much? Like, do you think about that a lot? Like, do you like, is it like do you feel pressure from it? Like for the next thing, do you feel just like lucky or like what is that transformation like? Or that
So
experience like?
it's a bit of all the above, lucky and pressure. I felt really great, like it was very out of this world to have these things happen to me, with the merch and everything. And it was very unexpected for sure, which it took me by surprise and just blew me away. But I also felt pressured because, I had this like weekly update schedule, and I had to put more and more effort into the updates, which eventually, I started, like my health started taking a
Mm.
turn for the worse because of the
Yeah.
amount of stress I had. So it was there was a lot of pressure in the early days, I would say the first year of Piggy. Now, I take 2 weeks to do an update, so I have a lot more time on my hands to do what I want and take my time with things. So that's great. But how it feels to be in this situation is just yeah, like every time I wake up and I go to my office where I have like a shelf of Piggy merch, I half expect it to like not be there. I feel like I'm still dreaming. It's very, very crazy. Eventually though, you do get used to it. So like it just feels like you're back to how life was before, at least the way I'm living,
Hmm.
because I'm living
Yeah.
similarly to how I lived before Piggy blew up.
Right,
And
right.
so besides like, take out the merch and all that and the whole Piggy thing, life is pretty normal for me, which is really good. I like to live a normal life. I don't want to live anything too glamorous or flashy, so
So, Minnie, you mentioned that there's 4 chapters left in Piggy in this iteration. What's
yes.
what's the next Piggy thing? What's the drop it here? Like you want to spoil some stuff for the fans out there? We'll just tweet it out. Like
How
what's
many
the next
times have
thing?
I been asked this?
You
um
miss every shot you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, I think.
that's a tough one. How do I word this without giving away too much? Um, I'll say journey. There you go. There's a journey ahead.
You heard it here first. There's a journey ahead.
Actually, I don't know if you heard it here first, but we can say that. We can say that. So
You
Well,
heard it here.
you heard it
Some
here.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here.
yeah,
You
yeah.
heard it here.
There's a journey ahead. There's a journey ahead. Um, you mentioned that at some point, right? Soon, Piggy, soonish, soon TM-ish. You'll kind of move on to some other things. Do you have concrete plans for some of the other stuff you want to make and what you want to do? Like, are you excited for that? Like to turn
Oh, yeah.
over, a new chapter, if you will, basically for you on Roblox or and just in general? Like, yeah, like would love to hear more about like the future and what you're thinking about the future.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to work on new stuff. Like, not that I hate what I'm doing. I love working on Piggy, but I've been working on the same type of game for like 2 years. And there's only so much you can do with it. Like, there's obviously a lot I can do with it, but like, I really want to go out there and try something completely brand new. And that's what I'm really excited for. Once these chapters are over with, I'm going to be working on like this open world type Piggy game, which I'm really, really excited for because it's something I've never really done before. But I'm very excited for because it's new, and I just want to try new things. And I
So
know there's a lot of Piggy fans who are going to be heartbroken that I finished the main game. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make an RPG Piggy game. So it's still in the Piggy universe, but it's something completely different, so people still get
so
their cravings.
so Piggy MMO coming to a Roblox sort near you sometime soon.
Yeah, that
So
would be right. Yep.
now you may have heard that here first, or may have heard it somewhere at some point, but this I think is probably a good segue to my favorite section of the podcast, Mini, which is a rapid fire question, where Tom and I go back and forth asking you one question, and you have like 30 seconds to answer or less. And
Oh boy,
we're just gonna get started. We got.
let's do
Hope,
it.
hope you're ready. The first question is like the first DevX check you ever got. What'd you buy with it?
I think I bought like like a world board game, just like some political world board game. I thought it'd be pretty fun. That's
So
it.
That's cool. Okay.
That's it,
What
yeah.
is a super cool or funny or frivolous or ridiculous thing that you've bought with your income from Piggy?
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. Let me think. I think I bought just like some prank toys just to use on my family. Nothing too crazy. I bought this. Actually, I don't know if I can show it here. No, I'm kidding. It's like some realistic like piece of poop. I know this is like the most ridiculous thing, but I have the greatest. I've had the greatest adventures with it. Putting it all in all sorts of places.
it's
That's
funny.
awesome.
It's funny. My good friend does a similar thing where as soon as he made money, he pays money for a monthly prank calling subscription to prank call all of us, and it's something else. That's what's why my
Oh, that's
numbers.
good.
That's why I have multiple phones now.
Yeah.
What is something that you want to buy? Like, what's something that like you're planning for to acquire, either experiential or physical in the coming years?
A trip to do some volunteering elsewhere. Like, there's not much I actually want to buy.
Hmm.
I'm not too materialistic, I guess. I just want to experience things.
Hmm.
So I guess just trips and trips to go doing some volunteering abroad.
That's
So
awesome.
Cool.
yeah.
If you had to run a farm, okay?
Oh boy.
You had to run a farm. What would you raise? Would it be pigs? Would it be cattle? Would it be sheep? What would it be?
Dogs. I think dogs.
Dogs. You
I
breed
love
dogs?
dogs.
Dog farmer.
I don't breed dogs, but I just love them.
Would you rather fight 1,000 piggy-sized pigs or one pig-sized piggy?
Um, Probably one pig-sized piggy. I think I would like die from exhaustion of the first one, you know. I would just be so tired by the end of it. One, you know, I could just grab like I don't know. You can do some damage with like a table, you know, or on a chair or something. Like it's not gonna take too much, I think, to take something out. So
I think I'm with you. I think you always go with the singular bigger thing than the like thousand of the yes. Even if it's
yeah.
less even if it's more intelligent,
And
which it
more
obviously
evil.
would be, and
Oh
more
yeah.
evil,
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
still think 1,000 piggy-sized pigs. I just there's no stopping them once they get going.
Exactly. They'll steamroll you.
You'll steamroll you. There's just you can't stop it. What is a classic game on Roblox that you love that you just want? It can't be something that you worked on, but just something you want to give a shout out to from back in the day.
This ancient game called like Zombie Desert Defense Tycoon. I think that was like my very first game on Roblox that I've ever played. Yeah, yeah. It's a fun little zombie survival base building game that I used to play all the time. Yeah, I think it's broken now though, rip. But
Well,
it was fun. It was fun.
Minnie, I'm sure you'll bring it back. What's a current game that you play that's not one of the games you've worked on?
I don't play too much on Roblox, but a game that I really, really love playing is Theme Park Tycoon 2.
Nice.
It's a fun roller coaster tycoon like game, and I just love it. It is so much fun to just mess around and create absolutely terrifying roller coasters. So,
What is a type of game that you think is awesome that is not very popular on Roblox that you like?
oh, story games. I think, well, it's not very popular. You know, there's tons of story games on Roblox, but they're not very popular because how they don't have much retention. You know, you play them once and then that's that. So that's why they never gain much traction. But I think the power of storytelling is very, very big, and you could do a lot with it. And I think it cannot be overstated how just fantastic story games are in my eyes. So
Awesome. Minnie, you know that there are developers, scripters, and modelers, both young and old, who look up to you. And if you don't know that, I'm so sorry to break the news to you. If you can
oh
give,
goodness gracious.
if you can give one piece of advice to them, like one thing that you've learned from your journey thus far, that you think that you would have liked to have known, or you think will help them on their journey, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't have opinions on Twitter. No, I'm kidding. I gotta think. I would say never ever give up. You know, because I've been on the Roblox platform, you know, working on games for over a decade now, or actually just a decade. So like if I gave up, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today, you know, so never ever give up. If Roblox development is something you truly want to do, then go for it. If you want to become an astronaut, then just go for it, you know, keep trying. And while it may take time and you'll have those down moments where you feel like giving up, if you don't, it'll be so worth it. It'll pay off like it did for me.
So now is my favorite part of the pod, which is the shout out section. So you get to shout out anything, anyone for as long as you want. Can be
boy.
really almost like we've had people shout out Subway, a particular location, not the company. We've had people shout out their friends, their family. We've had people shout out stuff that they own, that they like. Really, really anything. So the floor is yours. What do you want to shout out?
Oh boy. Okay, let me get a list real quick. So obviously, first and foremost, my family, my friends, the people I've worked with, you know, Beastlick, Optic, IKEA's, Tenuously, Mischiefing, the Fat Mojo team, Roblox for creating such a platform so I can make games on. Hold on, I've got another thing.
I'm excited for this. It's a mystery.
A supporter who sent me this thing, a mini Toon plush. They made this, which is just insane.
Amazing.
That's
you know?
insane.
Absolutely insane. Obviously, and like all my supporters out there, you know, everyone who's helped me over the years, or just this year, or just when Piggy blew up, you know, everyone who's even just clicked play on my game, even if it was for a second, even if they hate the game, you know, and played it, that's still supporting me in some way. So like I truly mean it, because without every individual person supporting me, and I say this a lot, without every single person supporting me, I wouldn't be where I am. If they weren't playing, then my game would not have been updated as much, or I wouldn't have much motivation to work on it, and I wouldn't be in this position that I am today. So I owe like everything to everyone who's ever helped me or supported me or played my game or enjoyed my works or even talked about it. So
Hell yeah, man. Well, hey, that's a great shout. Minnie, it's been an absolute pleasure. We gotta get you back on once you've, started your journey and made an MMO. And we'll have to bring you back on the podcast then. But until then,
I'll make you guys play it.
Oh, please,
No,
please.
We'll definitely play it. But what Sebastian loves card games. So when you release the Piggy, the Piggy card game, the Hearthstone Piggy game, he'll be your best player. He'll be the number one ranked player in the world. For sure.
Top 10 though. Top 10 for sure.
Top 10.
All right,
top 10.
If we want to find you on the internet, where should we go find you?
Probably Twitter. I think Twitter is the best way.
Cool. And it's
and if not there, then the Roblox website.
Best Twitter handle to find you at?
Which one? I have two. I have an alt account, but that's not relevant here much. So I think at TheRealMiniToon. You can follow me there. I've got like about 2 followers, I think, last time I checked. Pretty big. I'm working on it. Yeah.
Look, maybe one day you'll get a couple more, and then you'll get verified. Who knows?
Maybe one day I'll make a really good game, and that'll blow up, and
that'll be enough.
A lot of people.
Yeah, one day. We hope. We can all hope.
We can all hope.
This whole thing was staged, guys. None of this is real.
This isn't even really Minitoon.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's actually great. Before the trick is up, Tal, how can we find you on the internet?
You guys can find me at @TweetTall.
And you can find me at Seb Park, Mini, or the person who formerly known as Minitoon. It's been an absolute pleasure. We want to have you back on the pod soon. Thank you for jumping on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This has been fun.
All right, guys. Well, hey, if you guys want to hear more about, follow him on Twitter. Help him get to 4 or 5 followers, and we'll go from there. So, with that in mind,
yes.
Have a great one, guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Take care. Bye-bye.